Hello, and welcome to this tutorial for BioXTAS RAW. In this tutorial, you will learn how to save analysis information from RAW. So this tutorial assumes that you've already done the earlier tutorials on creating subtracted scattering profiles, Guinier analysis, and molecular weight. And if you've done those, what you should see in your RAW is the subtracted glucose isomerase and subtracted lysozyme scattering profiles, and you can see them plotted here. I've also loaded in another dataset that I'll use slightly later in the tutorial. It's the one you process when you do the SAXS tutorial. If you haven't already done those tutorials, you should go back and do them so you have some data to save. So there's several ways to save your data out of RAW. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to save a summary PDF of our data. So to do that, I'm going to right-click on the scattering profile in the Profiles tab over here. You can see it highlighted. This is the glucose isomerase. And I'm going to select Save Report down here. And that opens up this window. And you can see all the different things I have loaded into RAW are available. And if you want to include it in the report, you just check the checkbox. So here I'm just going to save a report on glucose isomerase. So I'm going to leave that as the only one checked, and I'm going to click Save Report. I'm going to give it a name. Let's call it GI Report. Click Save, and then click OK. And so now, so we can see what's in the report, I'm going to open it up. So here's a file browser window. This happens to be Finder. It could be Windows Explorer, whatever you're using. You can see this GI Report PDF that I saved here. I'm going to open that up. And you can see the report. So the report includes some summary plots. Here you can see the scattering profile on a log-lin scale, the Guinier plot and the residuals, the dimensionless Kratky plot. There's a summary table with some of the analysis that we've done, and then more detailed lists of various analysis parameters as you get further down. If we had done, say, IFT analysis, where we created a PFR function, you'd also see that here and in the summary plots. So in addition to creating a PDF for just one thing, we can include multiple things. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a PDF for both the glucose isomerase and the lysozyme data. So again, I'm just going to right-click on the GI and click Save Report. This time I'm going to check the lysozyme box, this lys2 profile here, and click Save Report. And we'll call this GI lys report. And I'm going to click OK. And so again, opening up my Finder, you can see the report shows up here. And in this case, you can see it saves both scattering profiles. So they're shown on the plot. You get both Guiniers, both dimensionless Kratky plots, and your tables now have two columns with all of the analysis that we've done. So in addition to saving that in PDFs, you can also save PDFs with information about series, as well as IFTs. So I'm going to demonstrate that now, even though we haven't yet done the SAXS tutorial. So here I'm going to select this profile. I'm going to right-click and save report. Then I'm going to include the IFT I made from it and the series that it came from. And so I can then save the report here. We'll call this SAXS. And then click OK. And you can also do that from the IFT or the Series tab. So I could right-click on the profile and save report, and select what I want, or rather on the IFT, sorry. Or I can right-click on the Series and save report, and then select the other things as well. So we'll take a look at this saved report for its SAXS data. So you can see it down here. I'm going to go ahead and open it up. And you'll see this includes the scattergram with the buffer and the sample region selected and the RG plotted. We have the profile, the Guinier fit, the dimensionless Kratky plot, and the IFT function. Since we did all that analysis and included it, and because we did that, we also have kind of extended tables that include the report on the IFT. So that's how you save a summary PDF. You can also save your data as a summary spreadsheet, a CSV file, a comma-separated value, which you can load into something like Microsoft Excel. And so we're going to do that here for both the glucose isomerase and the lysozyme data. So to do this, you select both of them. I'm just going to shift-click on the lysozyme to select them both. And I'm going to right-click, and I'm going to go to Save All Analysis Info. I'm going to call this GI lys analysis.csv and save it. And then again, I'm going to open up the Finder window. I'm going to take a look, and here you can see that CSV file, and if I open it up, it opens up in Excel. And you can see if I open up that CSV, each individual profile that I've selected has a row in the spreadsheet, and then each column is information. So you can see the Guinier I0, the Guinier RG, and as you scroll out, the molecular weight information and other information about the data set that we save. So that's another nice convenient way to save all the analysis that you've done in RAW. The final thing that we can do is we can just save the profiles. So once we've done the analysis, we go ahead and we save the profiles. Here I'm just going to save them in the same folder I have been. And when you do that, RAW saves them in the standard .dat file format. And so I'm going to go back to my file browser, and I'm going to open up one of these subtracted scattering profiles in a text editor. So here I'm just going to use TextEdit. You could use Notepad or something similar. And so at the top of this file is the information about the scattering profile itself, Q, I of Q, and the error. And if you scroll down at the bottom, what you'll see is all of the analysis information that we've done saved here. And so you can extract it out of the file this way if you want, or because RAW saves it, if I remove these files and I forgot to save a summary report or a CSV file, I can load those back in. And if I click on them, you can see that all the analysis information I had is repopulated up here in the information window. So it's all loaded back in by RAW when it loads in. So there are several ways you can save analysis in RAW. You can use the PDF report, you can save it as a CSV file, or you can just save your DAT file and then load it back in and all the analysis will be there. So with that, that's the end of this tutorial. You should now know how to save analysis in RAW.